Do you ever feel like Arena just gets a little bit repetitive, you're doing the same thing, not really seeing much improvement, and you wish there was a way to spice up your practice in Arena? Well, today is the start of a new series on my channel where I give you weekly practice playstyles to help you improve in Fortnite in specific areas. Nobody else in the community is doing anything like this, but when I started practicing this, it helped me out tremendously. Before we get into it, please consider using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So the Arena playstyle that we are talking about today is playing every single fight from high ground or low ground. What I did was one day when I was hopping on, I played Arena non-stop every single fight from high ground until I got a win. And then the same for low ground, but let me tell you why this is a good thing to practice. A lot of times players in Fortnite get used to doing the same things they always do. By doing that, you're never going to step out of your comfort zone and learn something new. I'm sure we all know when it comes to building skills in life, we have to struggle a lot to see that improvement. And the same goes for Fortnite. And so something I noticed is that my low ground fighting is so much better than my high ground fighting. When I get high ground in a fight, I struggle to set up safe peaks without trading damage. Versus on low ground, I'll set up a nice peak and I'll deal 100 damage and the enemy won't hit me at all. If you're kind of in the same boat as me, then practicing from high ground only might be very beneficial for you. Or if you're the other way around, then you should probably practice playing from low ground only. And I guarantee, when you test out a new playstyle like this, you'll learn something new every time. So I played from high ground only for about an hour and a half before I got a win. Versus when I played low ground only, we got a win so fast. So I took that information and I'm gonna go back later this week and play some more high ground only Arena because I know I have some stuff to learn from playing high ground in fights. Last thing I'm gonna say about the benefits of this is that the more you learn about fighting in Arena, the more situations you'll know how to handle and you'll be a much more versatile player. Alright, so now that we covered all the benefits of doing this playstyle, we're gonna go into my actual gameplay of when I succeeded in these challenges and see what we can learn, break down some fights. First thing I want to say right off the bat is that sometimes you're going to be forced to drop down to the enemy's lair when you're playing on high ground, and when you're playing from low ground, you're going to be forced to go up to the enemy's lair at certain points. So that's okay, because sometimes you got to drop to their lair to finish a fight, or go up to their lair to finish the fight. But the biggest thing is, try to get high ground every single fight when you're doing the high ground only challenge, and vice versa for low ground. Alright, let's hop into it. So this first fight we're checking out is one of those examples. I dealt damage from above on this player, and then I dropped down to finish the fight. If you don't get up close and pressure them when they're weak, then you're oftentimes going to let them heal up. So sometimes you got to drop down on that player to finish the fight. But I did a really good job here of dealing that initial damage in the fight from high ground, so let's go back and check that out. So first off, I do this really nice extended building method where I place ramps way in front of me and drag cones all over the place. This makes it difficult for the opponent to continue rushing upwards without running into your builds. However, I see the opponent run into my box and I figured they're gonna be like, oh crap, I gotta turn around. So I go to pre-box out the back side and the opponent just walks right into my trap. This is a good example of the things you can learn from playing high ground only, how to strike from above efficiently. This next clip showcases one of my favorite parts about doing the high ground only challenge. You get to crank so many retakes doing this, because obviously you gotta get high ground. But yeah, we did some piece control high ground retakes here and then kind of clap these kids. I'm gonna let you guys watch this and then I'll be back to explain how I outplayed this guy. So that second guy got worked, and it's pretty simple how I outplayed this player here. At this moment in the fight, you can see the left wall has nothing built there, and this is just a mind trick. Anytime I notice a build is missing in their box, they almost always go out that direction because people don't feel like editing an already built wall. The more you fight and the more you look for stuff like that, the easier it gets to pre-box opponents. And then that clip you just watched, holy bro, such clean movement, bro. Let's check it out. This is one of my favorite retakes to do. I put it in one of my piece control high ground retake tutorials. I call it the spinning high walls. The best way to learn retakes is just to watch them over and over again and try to imitate it while you're in creative. You can also slow down the speed of a YouTube video in the quality section, just FYI. But if you want a more detailed breakdown of my retakes, I recommend checking out my retake tutorials. Little thing from this fight that you're seeing right now is my ramping method. It's very simple and also very useful. I'm gonna slow it down for you here. So when I'm ramp pushing this guy, I kind of spread out to the right a little bit. This is just in case he tries to cone me here. I can have a little bit of distance so I don't get boxed, and it also gives me a visual when I click the edit button on the ramp to see which way he's going. It's just a little thing that helps a lot, and a lot of times it helps me look for piece control opportunities on the enemy. This clip that you're seeing here kind of makes me laugh. It's a good example of how to pressure from high ground. A lot of times pressuring from high ground is about setting up traps for the enemy any way you think they might go. So I just set up like 100 traps for him here, and eventually I just dropped in and he didn't know where to go. This next clip could have been something really good, but this is one of the things you want to be looking for in your gameplay when doing this challenge. Little mistakes like this that might get you killed on a regular basis. So right here when I go to piece up the enemy, I open this super wide edit and this exposes me entirely, and it's a 50-50. He can deal damage to me, I can deal damage to him. Making a window edit there instead is so much more alpha. Next fight, you're probably gonna think that this was a bad shot for me to take, but I want you to really think about this. So I get him coned here and it looks like he has a perfect shot on me, right? The thing you may not notice is in this situation, he has a left-hand peek, which means his POV is actually really messed up, which gives me the advantage in that situation. Good thing to note for when you get someone coned like that. That player actually got away, and then we picked up a free kills on edge of zone here. And then we got this god tier track in here. I'm telling you, Kovacs coming in clutch. I kind of just clapped the rest of this lobby, so I'll let you watch this out, and then we're getting into the low ground part of the video. High ground complete, let's go. So just a reminder as we get into the low ground game, sometimes you're gonna be forced to play a little bit out of the position you're trying to play. So sometimes I might have to build up to the high ground a little bit just so that I can apply pressure to the enemy. Let's say I get him weak and he just starts cranking to the moon. I can go for a chop out play, but I also need to get up to his lair so I can apply that pressure. It's a good thing to know when trying this challenge because you don't wanna let them get all of their heals off in a fight. So this first player that I fought was right up against my wall. I played this really well because I swung all the way around the backside where I knew he was going to dip. He had no other way to go because he was surrounded by builds. Sure enough, I got him boxed here, but there was one wall left open and I couldn't get it without editing this build. But by editing this build, you open it up so he can walk right into your box. Knowing that, I got ready and built a ramp right away and set up a peek from the outside. It was perfect. If you can get that ramp over the opponent and the sidewall, you're going to win every single fight, 100%, if you hit your shot. I outplayed this next player by just dragging cones around every side of the box he was in. Doing that allows him very few directions to move safely without walking into a trap, so pretty much only option he had was to go up, and he ended up going out of side. So this next one was a close call, man. We clutched up that second shot big time there though, let's go. Okay, so this fight is probably the best example for fighting from low ground throughout the entire video. Starting a fight with a low ground peak just like that is so good for getting a health advantage. You just take the peak shot and build a wall straight after. They'll hardly have an angle on you and you can get big damage dealt right away. And then a harpoon is a great way to pressure from below. Just great fight right there. Following that, we ran through a couple kids pretty easily here. Showed off the aim training a little bit. This player here got absolutely worked. I basically trapped every single angle you could possibly go. Once I slipped that ramp into his box, I just literally run around his entire box making traps and he had nowhere to go except for down or up. but he didn't go down or up, so. But yeah guys, give it a shot. Practice these low ground, high ground positioning techniques. Figure out if you struggle with either one of them and then add some more of that to your practice routine. Later this week on stream, Twitch, JivanTV, I'll be doing some more high ground only arena just to get some practice myself. It's a really good way to go about it. And it also just spices up your arena grind a little bit. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more of these in the future. Don't forget to hit that like button, sub if you're new, use code JivanTV, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.